get the feeling we're overrun. Sending boys in the trucks with the 50 cals. Tell every swinging neck bringing extra rounds. Hang in now, boys, we're on our way. Don't send them all to heaven before we get a taste. Whoa, cry havoc, let's slit the doors of war. What you gonna do?
And what's happening? Happy Sunday, folks. Before we get going any further, it's Brian and Gene again. This episode is not live. If you're tuning in, there's a reason we're not responding to your comments. We're recorded. Okay, we got some busy schedules going on these next couple weeks here, so we're recording. This is the second. You should be seeing this June 1st. Happy June. We made it through May. Hopefully, hopefully, Brian, we're talking, and you guys have not experienced any tornadoes down there in the dirty South. We just got some out here in Colorado, dog.
He's got jokes, I know. That's why I was checking on you the other day.
Yeah. Nope, just a lightning strike. Yep. Or
big line of storms coming in today.
Right. And I've been hearing about this weather manipulation stuff. How do I know this wasn't a planned, coordinated EMP to shut the double S down?
Hey, it might have been a strike. You never know.
Right? Right? Who knows? I haven't seen any black SUVs outside my house, so I'm okay so far. And I got cameras. I'm just saying, I got cameras. So. Yes. So, folks, please do leave a comment, though, if you're tuning in to us. We love you. We appreciate you tuning in here. Let's go ahead and go down and pay the bills, dog, as every show that we have here, first and foremost, brought to you by the Romans Warrior Foundation. Hashtag helping is healing. Come check out all of the awesome ways that the Romans Warrior Foundation deals with and helps bring healing across the nation for our brothers and sisters here. From the Global War on Terror's Wall of Remembrance at GWAT Wall. Dude, if you've got something going on in your town, your community, and you want to take it next level and bring true healing into your community, get a hold of my man here.
Bring the wall.
That's right.
Bring the wall.
Get the wall in there. We all have a special connection to that. Some of us way more than others as well. Another awesome division of the Romans Warrior Foundation is the Stop 22 Tour. It's in association and coordination with Label 22. We got those guys right here. This is combat veteran and just veteran singer-songwriters that creating music by veterans for veterans. Another form of true actual healing. I've seen it take place. At the concerts with people in the audience. You can see them just taking in the songs here, because the perspective is only that which another veteran can provide for you.
But there is a true disclaimer. I have to interrupt. There is a true disclaimer between the Stop 22 Tour and the Label 22. Stop 22 Tour, we bring singer-songwriters, veteran singer-songwriters that share their experience through storytelling, their songs, their folklore, along with the Global War on Terror Wall of Remembrance, different events set up across the country. Label 22 is one of very few nonprofit music recording and management companies that also help veteran singer-songwriters, their family members, in front of and behind the microphone. So it's not just about singing, playing the guitar. It's about doing publishing, recording, doing the mixing, doing the mastering, setting up the sound, videoing, the whole nine yards. We got our fingers in a lot of different pots with the Label 22 piece. And here's a famous shameful plug that I'm proud to say. Tune in tonight at the Grand Ole Opry Salute the Troops at 7 p.m. And that lovely guy that you just heard with that kick-ass intro, he's going to be playing. He's his second time on the Grand Ole Opry. He was there a year ago for Salute the Troops, got a standing ovation on all three songs. He's got some new stuff he's going to be hitting out there on the stage tonight. Tune in, shoot him up. Not literally shoot him up. Tune in. Get excited about it.
Sal Gonzalez, hell yeah, brother Sal. He's got such a distinctive voice. There's no question about it. When Sal sings, you know it's Sal. You know he's up there. And yeah, What an awesome dude. Last but not least, actually not last but not least, second to last but not least on the sponsorship side, the True Patriot Outfitters. We are the management nonprofit organization that handles the field ops division for the Romans Warrior Foundation. We help bring bring resources to these events and provide a ton from the logistics across and the management side for our field ops, getting outdoors, man, and letting the outdoors work its magic with you. Now, last but not least, our brother from another mother, the guy that helped bring this all together and the awesome network that he has created, Heroes Media Group. They've given us the platform. They've given us the green light to go ahead on this stuff. Mr. Adam Bird and all of the fantastic podcasts that are on this network, all our fellow podcast hosts out there. We're going to be having them on the show coming up down the line. We're going to start getting that interview where we can introduce you to other podcasts that Heroes Media Group has. So that's it. The bills are paid. Oh, yeah, by the way, Double S Podcast. Go over there and hit it on YouTube. Smash subscribe. Hit the little bell notification. That way you'll know we're coming. Throw a comment in there. Tell Brian how beautiful he is. Exactly. Look at that. A face for radio. Awesome. Okay. So special guest we have for this show. She's not a guest. She's a family member. She is our sister from another mister that's running around out there. We've known Michelle. We've had the pleasure to meet Dr. Kaye. She's actually not a doctor, but we call her Dr. Kaye because she's way smarter than us. Which that's a low bar, right? We need to find a better compliment for her because that's a low bar to say you're smarter than us. Oh, and there goes my camera again. Hey, you can still hear me. This is a product of my lightning strike / EMP attack that took place at my house. I'm running on a backup laptop and my camera will lock up every now and again. So let me fix it real fast. 1 second.
He's gone, but he'll be back.
There we are. Yay.
There he is. The Mother Nature EMP attack.
Exactly. Yeah, man, lightning struck outside the house, and we've lost, I don't know, like some 15, 20 lights in my house. They're those recessed LED lights. They don't work anymore. They're extremely dim like me. And then lost a PC. We lost a monitor. I lost my damn sprinkler control. Yeah, so it's nuts. I'm going to have brown grass and frozen cameras. That's all I'm set for now from here on out. All right, let's get Michelle in here. Let's get her in here before we're running off the rails here. It's a shit show already. Let's bring in Miss Michelle Kaye of Operation Equine and our dear friend. What's happening, Dr. Kaye? How the heck are you?
Horse whispers in the house.
Yes.
Whoop, whoop. You guys are the best. Oh my gosh, you already have me laughing already over here.
Good.
Yeah, if the whole Dr. Kaye is because you think I'm smarter than you are, and that's the compliment, we're gonna have to come up with something different. But I appreciate the sentiment. You guys know how I feel about you.
Exactly.
So thank you for having me on today.
Absolutely.
I know I'm the target in the woodshed that you throw the axe at.
Hey, if we're talking about men's therapy, we got to talk about axe throwing for sure. That's women's therapy too. The axe throwing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If you guys haven't done it yet, it's so fun.
Yeah, but you got to leave that for the single one because you don't need to teach my wife how to throw anything else at me.
Right?
We'll just make sure it's a dull axe. You'll be all right.
Yeah, do not put, like printouts of our faces on the bullseye or that is done.
Oh man.
Well, listen, man, we appreciate Michelle. We appreciate you coming on here. We've talked about this before many times. Yes, men's mental health, general mental health well-being, and you are a mental health practitioner. Beyond all the many hats that you wear, of course, also the founder of Operation Equine, which is equine-assisted therapeutic services that you provide for our warfighting community out there. Both Brian and I have seen it firsthand. We've witnessed it, and the power that comes with that. It's another one of those, I don't like using the word alternative, but it truly is. It's another option as opposed to a big bag of opioids, right? And a revolving door of people that come and go that you have to retell your story to 62 times. These are other methods that you can, that you can utilize here that truly freaking work, and they're cost effective. Yeah. For the love of God, there's not a downside to this. You know what I mean? It's
out of my comfort zone. It's the the political correct term, I believe, is non-traditional form of therapy.
Right.
They also complementary, right?
Yeah,
Complementary alternative alternative medicine. When it's complementary, right, it can go alongside. It doesn't have to replace, right? So non-traditional, we'll get on that because that is a very interesting way to put it.
I'm
as
already
well,
in
right?
trouble. What the hell?
No, you're not in trouble. Not yet, Brian. Not yet. No, I'm glad you brought it up because that's part of the conversation, right? Is that people think, well, if it's alternative, right, it's got to be something that's edgy, right? If it's alternative, right?
Some hoodoo voodoo stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And when it's non-traditional, right? People have been hanging out with animals in nature to feel better forever, right? Like when we all get outside, get away from our computers, get away from our devices, get out of the mall, get out of the office, and just go stand outside with the wind in our hair and the sun on our face, we already feel better. We'll talk a little bit about that today. When it's complementary, right? You can do traditional therapy and go hang out with the horse. You can, if somebody actually needs to take pharmaceuticals, because there's a time and a place, right, to be able to do that. And you can also take your supplements, and you can get outside, and you can go fishing, and you can, drink matcha tea instead of Rockstar drinks. I'm just saying, right? Brian's like, don't mess with my rock stars. So I know, right?
Garbage.
All of these, it can be both and, right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. It really can be both and.
And oh my God,
sponsored by Rockstar Energy Drink.
And that is a lesson that, quite frankly, I mean, transcends all topics in today's world, is that it doesn't have to be this or that.
That's right.
Right? For the love of God, the universe around you teaches you that the gray zone is usually where the long-lasting positive impact things happen, is somewhere with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That's where good things happen. Anything in its extreme is short-lived and burns out, whether you're talking universal timelines or people. You know what I mean? It never really works when you have too much of one thing over, too much of an area. Everything, even cyanide in small doses has positive impact. What does that tell you? But, you get more than like a drip of it, and eek, you're done. Was that almonds or what was that?
Oh, my Lord.
I didn't know there was cyanide. I know that about arsenic, that a tiny bit of arsenic, because apple seeds apparently have just like the smallest homeopathic amount of arsenic, that a teeny tiny amount of it, maybe
that's what I was thinking.
It's good for you, but
see,
I don't know about cyanide.
You're so smart, much more smarter than us. You're way gooder at this, Michelle, than we are.
Way better.
Let me ask you something, Michelle.
Yeah.
With what you do in equine therapy, so I'm familiar with two different approaches to the equine therapy piece. There's what they call the path, and then there's some other program. Which do you guys focus on and use?
Ooh, great question. Because I both of you. Ooh, yeah. They both right. They both inform what we do, and we're not only either of them. So I'll unpack that for a sec. One thing I'm going to add right quick is, Jean, just so you know, we also work with first responders. So our communities that we work with is active military, veteran, first responders, and their families. So I just want to make sure people know that's a family thing too, because God willing and the creek don't rise, we get this next grant coming up. I'm going to be able to take my first female spouse trip this summer.
That's awesome.
Amazing, right? Because we haven't been able to address our spouses as much as we would like to be able to, just because of funding and time and all those things. So, Brian, I'm already thinking about your wife, and Jean, I'm already thinking about yours.
Well, I'm smiling because and it made the hairs on my arm stand up. It's impactful. Just those little words are impactful to me, because one thing I failed to do, and I'm open about this, I've spoke to this with you two before. One thing I failed to do while in uniform was truly dive deep in the support system of my troops. And when I got out and started the Romans Warrior Foundation, that's one thing I wanted to change, and we did change. We had to build that support system to be able to benefit and hold up our troops, right, wrong, or indifferent. That way the spouses, the support system there at home, knows triggers, knows how to handle triggers, knows how to handle certain responses. So for you to sit there and say that you guys, you're going to get this grant, you're going to take this first spouse trip to be able to unpack their emotions, the products of they've been dealing with, whether it be a first responder or a vet, that is, I'm sorry to say it, fucking awesome. And I mean, I'm on board. Whatever you need from us, you got our support, because
Awesome.
that right there, the shockwave and the impact I know that will have on that team of ladies when they take that back to their families, because that's right. That's the power that women have over men. And this is going to sound completely sexist, but I don't give a shit. You women are the nurturers. Men are built structurally to be the providers. So when you women get something, you want to multiply it, nourish it, watch it grow, and watch it filter out and hand it down. And for you to be able to take these spouses on that trip and unpack and teach them different products, I know they're going to take that back to their families, and they're going to teach not only their spouses, the ones in need, but they're also going to teach the other family members that are in that close-knit support system.
That's right.
Hats off to you, Michelle.
That's right. Thank you. And that's
there's some motivation today. Thank you.
Bam. That's right. So here's the thing. That's not sexist at all. So I will answer your equine therapy question, but we're going to pause it for a second, because what you just said, Brian, is really powerful, is that there's the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And that doesn't necessarily have to be in a body, right? We're not talking about body parts. We're talking about the energy of it, right? But in a marriage and in a couple where it is a man and it is a woman, that is exactly right. We have different roles. We have complementary roles, right? We were just talking about the word complementary. If both people have the exact same skill set, you're only going to get so far, right? But when both people are adding their skill set, and a lot of that is, right, the nurturing and the communal and the community and the holding the home fires in both a literal and a figurative way, right? And it is then the man's job, or the divine masculine's job to bring that home, right? To be the provider, to do the fixing, to do other things. For a healthy community, you need both. Mm-hmm. And again, it doesn't matter what body parts that energy is in, you need both to make a healthy family work. So that's 100% right. So we could have a whole podcast just about that, because that's one of the reasons that we do work with spouses also. And that could be female spouses or male spouses, but this is the year of the woman. So we've got a female veterans trip going out in July, and we've got hopefully a female spouses trip going out in August. So that's super exciting.
You know, and to compliment and kind of pile on that, there's I know I don't know why he'd be a controversial figure, because I do appreciate a lot, but there's a guy that's online that has came out of Canada. His name is Jordan Peterson.
Oh yeah.
And I believe he is a doctor as well. Yes. So Dr. Peterson makes he talks about a lot of empirical data that comes through, and one of the things about men and women that I find extremely insightful into a lot of these conversations is that men, as a whole, keep in mind we're talking, as numbers go, are more into and interested in things, right? Things as opposed to people, where women tend to lean more towards people than things. And that is why you see certain jobs are, dominated by certain areas, I think. Now, it's not always the case. There's always exceptions to the rule. But as a general rule, so yeah, it makes total sense when you're talking about relationships and creating support systems in there. The female in this process, whether it be the vet or the warfighter or the spouse, is so huge, man. She's in my opinion, she's at the center of it.
There's a reason why the quote, behind every good man, there's a better woman. No, wait a minute. That's not how the quote goes.
No,
I'll tell you, you're 100% right, because look at the jungle culture, right? Look at the lion culture, right? Mm-hmm. As a lion is going in for a strike, the lioness is always going to protect his throat. The lioness is always going to protect her man. So yeah, you're 100% right. Behind every strong man is a stronger, better woman, because we feed off of the energy that woman provides. That woman can say one thing and it's going to crush us. Whether we want to admit it or not, it's going to crush us. Oh, yeah. That woman can say one thing and it's going to uplift us, because we want to live up to that expectation. So you hit the nail on the head. You don't have to. That's not nothing bad.
I was going to say, I'm not going to get any argument out of this dude. I tell you.
I want to say one thing, and then I'll go back to the first thing. And we could have a whole podcast on this. People are talking a lot about toxic masculinity, right? What they're not talking about is toxic femininity. You can't have one without the other, right? It exists, right? The whole mean girl thing. Right. That's the whole mean girl thing, right? And it's horrible. That's why this is the year of the woman with the female veterans and the female spouses, because women can be each other's best supports, best like you go girl, and can be totally supportive and nurturing and awesome. And they can also be each other's downfall. That whole mean girl, right? And so if people are talking about toxic masculinity, they got to talk about toxic femininity, because it's the shadow side of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, right? And so that, like you just said, a woman can absolutely crush her guy in one smart ass remark, just like y'all can crush us. At the same time, like you said, when we can flip that around and be each other's best support and be vulnerable enough, I'm going to use the V word, which is vulnerable today. I know what you're thinking. As long as we're talking about divine feminine, the word is vulnerable today.
Got it.
Is we can also use that vulnerability to bring each other up and to be able to say and to hold ourselves accountable when we've said something, and you see how the other person responds to that. If I say something and I see you just go, oh, and clench your jaw and like take it in the gut, I could go, oh God, I'm so sorry. I think what I just said, that was not what I meant. Please forgive me. Like, let me back that up. That was actually supposed to be a joke. Or I thought you would think it was funny. Or you, right? And I'm so sorry. I apologize, right? And both men and women can go there with that, right? Because those things impact, man. Those things have impact that we say.
Words do matter. Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
When they're coming from a source of trustworthy, and credibility, you got to always consider that source for
That's
sure.
Right. That's right.
And I don't want to derail this too far, but there is a topic, we're going to get into this on a different, like I said, you're going to be a reoccurring guest. I know this. As long as we got your schedule, I want to have you on here. This term toxic masculinity, I have never liked it from day one. And then I saw a guy online actually put into words what I don't like about it. There's masculinity and there's femininity. And then there's assholes. Okay? That's just...
An asshole is gender neutral.
Exactly.
Women can be assholes 100%.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it does, there's nothing wrong with being masculine. Just like I say this all the time, there's nothing wrong with being liberal. There's nothing wrong with being conservative. These are not evil words. These are words with a definition behind them that we have socially turned into weapons of some kind. And it's like, dude, come on, let's take it back. Let's take it back here. There's just dorks, there's idiots, and then there's good people. And yeah. But
and even good people can be jerk faces sometimes, right? I mean, that's the way that works. Okay, so as long as we're talking about semantics, I'm bringing it back to the horses.
Yes, good,
okay,
perfect.
That was Brian's original question.
That's where we started.
That's right. So Pat, you were talking about Path and Igala, I think are the two that you were talking about. So Path is therapeutic riding, therapeutic horsemanship, right? Igala is one certification program. It's standards based, it's evidence based, really high standards. It's a phenomenal organization. It stands for Equine Assisted Growth and Learning Activities. They're wonderful, and there are some equally wonderful equine certification programs that all have a different focus. So natural lifemanship is one, Equisoma is one, the Herd Institute is one, human equine dynamic. I should remember what this stands for. It's Herd, of course, is an acronym. I don't know. Maybe I just lost my smarter this morning. Human equine relational dynamics, I think, or something like that. Fabulous organization. Let's see what else. Let's see. So there's Equisoma, Natural Lifemanship, the Herd Institute. Arches. What does Arches stand for? Arches is another one. There's some phenomenal organizations out there that are doing different kinds of equine work in terms of psychotherapy, coaching, learning, all the different things. So I was trained in Igala for the better part of 14 years, still am. But I'm also adding natural lifemanship. I'm also adding.
So like half your life.
God love you. I am older than I act, Gene, but God love you. Flattery will get you everywhere. And
Oh,
doing
yes, we know.
oh yes. No, you guys are good at that.
Wait,
So
what?
there's all these different, right? There's all these different aspects that we're bringing into our work because we take the best of everything. That's actually what integrative medicine is, right? Is taking the best of everything, a little bit of Western, a little bit of Eastern, a little bit of all these different things. And because I'm such a brain geek, the mindfulness piece is huge. Oh my gosh, I just went to a training with the Somatic Nature Therapy Institute for 3 days. We were outside 8 to 5, 2 days. And then on Saturday, it was 8 to 9. It's a game changer. I highly, highly recommend because I'm getting my a certification in somatic nature therapy. I'm starting a certification process, and it adds on to what we do. It adds on to what we do with the horses. It adds on to being what we do outside. And there's a boatload of science backing all of this, right? It's not just woo-woo nature hippie shit, right? They're actually one of their staff members has a PhD. Can't remember exactly what it's in, but she was telling us about the science. Get this, the microbiomes of nature, of dirt, of the ions in the air, of the sun, of the rain, of the snow, they're actually positively affecting us, whether we're doing mindfulness in nature or not, whether we're actually studying things, whether we're actually, fishing, hunting, bicycling, whatever the case might be. The microbiomes are all like, hello, come to us. We're going to make you feel better. Right. So
Grandpa knew what he was saying when he said, rub some dirt on it, dog. I'm telling you.
That's exactly right. There's a reason why, why we play in the dirt and we feel better. There's a reason why it feels better when we go camping and when we're outside and the wind is in our face and, and the wind is in our hair and the sun is on our face and our, and we're barefoot and taking a pee in nature. There's a reason why that naturally feels better. And so now they're finally putting some science behind it, which is pretty cool.
Which we're not proposing, we're not saying that you should go outside and pee everywhere. I mean,
well, not everywhere.
Right. Yeah. No.
When you're out camping, right, you pop a squat and there's just something about it because, it's the microbiomes. It's the energy of nature.
100%.
It's all of the ions that are there. We are not meant to be sitting on our rear ends in front of a computer all the time. Yes, we need to, right? For things like this, right? We're learning, we're doing things, we're reaching out, we're connecting. And then you got to shut it down and get your ass outside and take a breath of fresh air because it will always help. Always.
100%.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You first.
I was just going to say, to gene this down, what this means, folks, is that Operation Equine deals in equine assisted therapies, but also inside that area, there's like a crap load of different methodologies that can be used to help connect depending on the person and their situation, because everybody does have their own unique battles, man. Everybody has their own unique situation. And so as we get more time and energy and organizations like Operation Equine that can put time and energy into this, we get to expand this field. It gets backed by good science, good, medical backing science that actually has, some standard to it. And it shows because the results come from the people that go there, man. There's nothing better than, if you want results, I'm going to trust testimonials over, lab coats any day of the week. And so when you hear it, and that's what's super, super cool to see, you guys, because we've had the same on the recreational therapy side, as that continues to expand. Heroes on the Water has been phenomenal at leading that charge for the kayak fishing side, partnering with universities and actually pouring some money into this, studying this impact. And when you have a 96% return of participants that say this positively impacted me, you can't argue that, man. That helps. And it's all for the reasons that you guys are starting to unrail, man. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bri.
Speaking of the water, I heard from a colleague of mine. She was doing all this, scientific study on complementary and alternative medicine, is that one of the best things to help ameliorate the effects of PTSD is the sound of running water.
Oh, wow.
Right. So the sound of the paddling, right? The sound of a little waterfall, the sound of a creek, the sound of a river, the sound of an ocean, any kind of that water is automatically soothing to our nervous systems. And she said, if there's any, therapist or coach or, whatever that is working in an office setting and you can't get outside, if you have a water feature like a fountain in your office, it will automatically start to soothe the nervous system underneath the radar. So
not just make you need to pee.
Not just make you need to pee. That's right. That's right. In which case you do go out the back.
Go outside and it's liberating.
That's right. Right. Bring it back, Jeans. Bring it back. Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. My Lord. So, folks, bottom line is, if you want a tried and true program that you want to invest in, that's going to invest in you, get up with Operation Equine. Michelle knows her stuff, and that's evident. Just talking with her, hearing what she's talking about. You go feel free to look her up on her LinkedIn. Yes, we stalk people here. It's legal. It's okay. It's all in good nature. It's not the dangerous kind. So Michelle's got all kind of little initials and stuff after her name that I'm not even going to pretend to know what they are. But the bottom line is she's been doing this for over 30 years. She's been helping veterans for over 10 years. And one of the best quotes I will ever say, and I'm going to read it straight from her website, if there is no struggle, there is no progress, Frederick Douglass. So think about that. If an organization has something like that as a defining structural foundational quote, do you not believe, do you not buy into it right then and there? Because I damn sure do. And one of the programs that Michelle and her team offers that I cannot wait to get on, I'm going to get on one this year or next, whether I have to drag Michelle out here to Alabama or not, is called the Warrior Pack Trip. I'm not going to steal Michelle's thunder. I'm going to let her explain it, because Warrior in this instance is an acronym. And the things that they do out there on this trip is transformational. Michelle, the floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you kindly, sir. And I will say, I'd be happy to come out to Alabama. If we can find an outfitters out there, I'm happy to come out to Southeast.
Consider it done. We can even eat lunch in the cave. They have a restaurant in the cave. We can do it.
I'm in. Restaurant in the cave. I love it.
Cave good.
Yeah.
Cave good. Food better.
Cave good. Food good. I like it. Yeah. So the Warrior acronym, it was downloaded to me in a divine moment. I was trying to search my brain for all the, what could stand for, what it is we do. I'm like, equine. Can I unpack it like, excellence? Q. The hell is Q? I don't know. It didn't come up. And then I was like, right. And then I was like, veteran. And I was like, no, that's way too many letters. Right. So it just came to me one day, warrior, because we do our best to come to everything with the warrior ethos. Right. And so the warrior acronym stands for wisdom, acceptance, and accountability. The R's are all interchangeable, so I always forget what order they're in, but they all make sense. Relationship with self, with others, with nature. Responsibility for self, for responsibility. Wait, what did I just say? Relationships, respect with self, with others, with nature. The I is integrity. O is own your impact. And then respect for self, for others, for nature. Did I get that right? Responsibility, relationships, respect. Did I get that right?
Respect. Well, you have it listed out: respect, relationships, responsibility. But yeah, you hit them all.
I never remember the order. That's why the R's are all interchangeable, because who can remember the order of anything these days, right? I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
R's are flexible.
Right, exactly. Arr. That's right, Pyra's favorite letter. But the point is that they're all with self, with others, and with nature, right? Because those are all the principles that we work on in the Warrior Pack Trip, right? Is that every day has got its theme. And so it's funny, I talk to a lot of people about, do you know what own your impact means? And a lot of people are like, yep, I've heard that. And a lot of people have never heard of it, right? So we talk a lot about that, is that what is my impact on myself and on others, right? If I'm in a cranky mood, right, it's my responsibility, if before I come charging in at you, to just, to say to you guys, if we're going to be working together for the day, to be, hey guys, just so you know, I woke up super cranky, didn't sleep well, I got a headache, but I'm here and I'm doing my best. That way, if I get all sorts of grumpy and cranky and crusty with you guys, you're not like, hey, what the hell's her problem? Is it me? Is it something I said? Did I offend her? Right? I'm coming to the table with some honesty and some transparency. And it actually will help our communication, because maybe you guys would be a little easier on me that day, right? If I come in, right, and I've already put out front there, like, hey, just so you know, I'm in a tender spot today, but I'm doing my best, right? the teasing might be a little gentler that day, right? So
I doubt it. That's you.
I know. That's fair. I got a pretty thick skin. I can handle most things. Right. But when you're owning your impact, right, or being able to say when someone walks in the door, instead of like if they come, all pistons charging, all pistons firing, right? And you're like, damn, what's your problem? To be able to be like, whoa, slow your roll, Red. What's going on with you today? Right? It's being able to acknowledge that we have impact on other people. And when we talk about that in families, it makes a huge difference because we all want to be like strong and I'm fine. I got this. I'm cool. I'm fine. Your family's no bullshit. No, you're not. Your jaw's clenched. You got the 1,000-yard stare on. The knee is doing the bounce thing. Like, you ain't fine. Just be honest with me because then I can work with you on it. Then I can be like, dude, you're a spaz case. Go take 20 minutes, go run around the house a couple of times, and then come back because I'm not going to have a meaningful conversation with you when you're being a spaz case. So,
freaking love you, Michelle.
She fits in so well.
The feeling is mutual, my friend.
Half the time I'm just trying to keep up with her, right? I mean,
I agree.
Yep. She goes through and, you embody, Michelle, to me, and I say this even when you're not around. But you embody the Shakespearean, she is small, but she is fierce.
Though she be but little, she is fierce.
See, I murdered it. Then see, I told you, she's way gooder at this stuff than I am, man. There's just no doubt about it.
I think they got it, both.
It's a good look for you, Brian. It's a good look for you.
I know.
I will tell you about the Shakespeare thing, and then I'm going to turn it back over to you guys.
Yeah.
So 2 things about the Shakespeare thing. 1, I am a total Shakespeare geek, and I have that quote on my wall. So I appreciate that you feel that I embody it because that's a real thing. There is therapy in Shakespeare. I actually got to act at the arts, right? It's one of the reasons why I'm so supportive of the Label 22 and the Stop 22 guys is because I know how powerful music is and that songwriting and how powerful the arts are. Is with that, there's an amazing organization called Decruit, and they use Shakespeare with veterans as a therapeutic tool. They're amazing. Stefan Wolfert and his wife Dawn are powerhouses, and they are out east. And decruits, because they talk about, right, they recruit you into the military, but when you get out, they don't decruit you. They don't teach you how to be, a person out there in the world without your people, without your training, without your mojo.
Facts.
It's a phenomenal organization, Decruit. The other thing is that I noticed it in Sal's first opening song. He has a line about cry havoc. Decruit, actually, Stefan Wolfert has a one-man show. He's Army veteran, right? Mm-hmm. So he, when he got out of the military, he's like, what the hell am I going to do with my life now? He walks into a performance of Richard III, and it changes his life. He's like, oh my God, this is what I need to do. Richard III is a dastardly character. And when you watch that play, or when you see that movie, Sir Ian McKellen plays Richard III, they have a lot of quotes in there about warfare and about military and about strategy. And so Stefan created this one-man show called Cry Havoc, and he intersperses all the things that all the plays in Shakespeare that have military references, and he interweaves it with his own story about coming back home. It's phenomenal.
Awesome. Got to check that out.
He might be somebody you need to get on the podcast as well.
Totally.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, that all goes back to the Shakespeare geekery. Though she be but little, she is fierce. And that is a true compliment, Gene. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's the truth. You blaze paths out there, and I love, we realized that we were all birds of a feather, especially, for me, what locks it in is when I hear somebody say we're here for the entire warfighting community and their families. That is such a key, because from day one, that was ingrilled in my head, is that the entire family serves, and there is no better or more impactful support system than, that family. Mm-hmm. And that can be negative and positive, and you have to recognize that this is impactful, and we want to try to make sure that it's positively impactful, for them. So offering those services to folks. Michelle, I want to off screen want to chat with you. I've got some connections of some people. I've got an organization that offers yoga. She is amazing. Frog Pose Yoga, Kate Paulin out of Boulder. Nice. She offers this at no cost in many cases. And she's a very experienced individual when it comes to yoga. And she's been talking about trying to put something together for our warfighting communities, maybe a class or so here and there, especially on the spousal side. That would be phenomenal.
Okay.
The other thing is I have an organization that is a major supporter of the TPO called the Chill Shop. She does, she hosts these little, it's a jewelry company. And she hosts these little these events that can be, pretty intimate in the form of like maybe 6 to 10 people max, of building your own jewelry. It is super cool. And just the textile feature and the environment where you're sitting around shooting the breeze and, putting these things together. She wants to find ways that if I can, help lead that up. You and I could speak on this and see if we can maybe, put some people together and get them over to these areas. TPO will take care of it. And yeah, man, that would be, and Romans we'll together, we'll square this away. This could be some cool stuff that we could work on.
I love it. 'Cause it is all about collaboration, right? It really is. We are not meant to be these silos. We've got to, right? 'Cause we all have different superpowers, right? And different things come to different people at different times. Like for some people, they find the songwriting first. For some people, they find the yoga first. For some people, it is traditional therapy, right? Everyone's got their different way into how we can heal ourselves from the inside out and from the outside in, right? And so when we can collaborate and do all those things together, you never know what's going to work for somebody on that given day. They might just find that jewelry like, oh my God, I never knew I was good at this. There's another organization I'm working with called the Warrior Story Field, and they use metal and welding. It's a phenomenal organization. It's up here in Longmont, and anybody can show up. You don't have to know a thing about welding. They'll show you how, because they have been, my friends, they have been for 12 years building a welded steel dragon and a welded steel phoenix. They're like at 20 feet high at this point. They're like,
wow.
Yeah. 20,000 pounds at this point. And you got to come have a field trip. Brian, next time you're in town, and Jean, let's grab you and your lady and let's come out to the Warrior Story Field. I'll bring you out there. And we'll get them on the podcast too.
Hell yeah.
That has changed lives by welding, right?
Oh yeah.
Community, because it's not an official program. There's no intakes, there's no counselors, there's no nothing. It's show up however you are, as whoever you are, learn how to weld, get into the steel and the hot and the metal and the dirt and the smell and the roar to it. There's total roar therapy, right? I love it.
That's right up your alley, yeah. The roar.
Video of me. There is a video of me, which is going to be in their next media thing, is pounding on this metal, right? It was a day during COVID. I was fit to be tied. I had all sorts of piss and vinegar in me, and I showed up, and one of the veterans just put a sledgehammer in my hand and pointed to a place on the Phoenix and just went, "Go at it, girl." And I was just, "Arr!" Arr! It was great.
Yeah. Speaking of super.
Yeah. Arr!
Speaking of superpowers, mine is getting exactly in the way of another shopper at the grocery store. I don't care where I stand or how I try to maneuver myself into it, that I'm away from somebody. I'll be right in front of the damn pickles that somebody has, in their potato salad, recipe or something. Yeah, that's my superpower. Yeah.
So, Gene, I just looked this up, this Warrior Story Field, and reading the about, it's going to hook you when you read it. I'm going to read it out loud, but it's going to hook you when you read it for yourself. We believe that healing is an inside job. We're not looking to heal or fix anyone. By design, we have no forms to fill out, nothing to measure, no boxes to check. Instead, we create a field of expression which each of us, the team, can explore in our own imagination and creativity with affirming support. Think about the power of that statement.
Boom.
We're not looking to heal anybody.
That's right.
Oh, I just got frozen a mic drop. What the hell?
Yeah.
Not cool. Not cool.
Wow.
Yeah, at least it's in mic drop though. I'm really glad you read that, Brian. That is, I love this organization, and I get to be. I'm the wrangler. That's my new title over there. Is I'm the wrangler. I am helping the creatures to find a new home because they've been on that backyard pad for 12 years now, and it's time for them to fly the coop and find a new home. So we can eventually. I can talk with you guys more about that. But it is a phenomenal place because you really do show up. You just show up, and you're
So-
embraced by these creatures.
I've got a place for you.
Okay, we are definitely going to talk offline about this, my friend.
Yeah.
100%. We'll have
And
an
you
offline conversation.
Okay.
And yes, we need to get together because I want to come see this firsthand. Because I think, this sounds like another one of those, this is a collaborator we need to tell people about and share this resource with as many people as possible.
Yes, please. And thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Well, awesome stuff. Michelle, you never disappoint. And we could go on for 12 hours, I'm sure, straight. Through this, but if with asking you right here on a recorded, not live episode, we're asking, please make sure that if Sundays is when we normally have our podcast, we go at 7 p.m. Mountain, is when we fire up. If you can't make those because of busy schedule or whatever, then we can do recorded stuff with you. That's fine, but we want to make sure that you are a constant on the show where people get to know you more, they get to know Operation Equine more. Yep. And we can pull on your experience and your knowledge, man, because this is, you got the two of us over here, half the time, during our way through most stuff. We could use this guidance when it comes to these things because we may think them, but we don't know how to put them into words, and you do, and that's hugely powerful for the people that we're here to serve.
Well,
you make us dummies sound nice and pretty.
We look smart by hanging out with you.
Wait a second, you two. I appreciate all of these accolades, and we need the two of you individually and collectively, because all joking aside, you both have your superpowers and you both have your brilliance, and I don't want you to poo-poo that for a nanosecond. No, you do, because what you guys do individually and collectively, I mean, look at that. Label 22, True Patriot Outfitters, Stop 22, the GWAT wall. Like, you guys make shit happen. And this is why we need the masculine and the feminine. So I appreciate the both of you so very much.
I'm the feminine, right?
What you do behind closed doors ain't none of our business, Gene.
Hey,
thank you. Thank you.
Michelle, I appreciate your kindness. I appreciate your words, but I'm going to honestly tell you, you made that so eloquent to where it was like, I took it as this complimentary wordsmithing sounding really good. And then you brought it back down to our world. Don't poo-poo on it for a nanosecond. It was really well the way you placed all that stuff together. Hey, this is really smart and talking, but don't you poo-poo on it for a second.
She's going to make sure we understand what she's saying as well as going on there.
Right.
Oh, poo-poo, not good.
Oh, my Lord. I love it.
I love you guys.
Folks, just imagine when we're all together in person. We drive. It's funny. People stare at us all the time.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Well, awesome. So we're going to go ahead and move into the second segment here of the show, and we would love if you'd hang out with us because it's kind of on the satire side, but actually not. This one is going to play right off of some of the topics we've been talking about. This is normally our run and gun, where what we do is we go down and we grab some of these reels that we find in social media, and I try to avoid if I can, the poo-poo ones as much as I can. Sometimes some topics, like in our shots fired segment, we'll roll some poo-poo ones for sure. But this one that we're going to roll here comes from another podcast, very famous, Tim Pool, huge following out there. And this was the topic they were talking about here is about, kind of modern civilization and what has been happening to relationships. So I want to roll a few minutes of this here and then just kind of have the three of us kind of peel it apart a little bit, either create some affirmation to it or objection to it, whatever. But let me go ahead and see if I can, we're going to pull this up and we're going to share screen. Let's see if I can see, where is it? There it is. Bada bing. And I should be sharing audio. Here we go. And so, yeah, I'm going to roll this bad boy here. Right from the beginning. Can you hear that? No, you can't.
Destroy their way of life.
1 second. Here we go. All right.
How can human beings, in the span of a couple of decades, completely destroy their way of life? Honest question.
Yeah.
But this is...
Well, it took longer than a couple decades.
Maybe 100 years.
You could probably go back to the 1800s and some of the liberal values. They flowered in the 1960s, but the process was underway long before then, particularly in the 1950s. Like the Kinsey Report was a huge deal that we don't hear about today.
Right. What I mean is, even if you go back to the 1800s, people were still largely agrarian. We were coming to the point of industrialization. And it is true. This is where things started to change. Technology started to come into place. Industry started to grow. But that's so either way, within the span of a handful of generations, the way of life for humans, wherever you were from, was largely similar. The life you lived was the same life your grandfather or grandmother lived. Now you're in a city by yourself. Your parents are thousands of miles away or wherever. You met a person for the first time. Within a few months, you're like, hey, this is going pretty good. Maybe we should get married.
So I just want to say most people don't watch past this kind of point, right? This is like a minute in, and in today's world, they disconnect. So if you're still watching and you're still with the podcast, thank you. I love you. Please keep doing this. And stick with this point that they're talking about here, because it actually is pretty darn impactful.
But you don't actually know each other. You've not experienced life together. This is within the span of a very short amount of time relative to human civilization, and a complete inversion. I don't think it's possible for humans to make that work.
Well, and just to kind of rephrase what you were saying before, the scenario that you gave, the problem is that we're dating strangers. Like, we don't know anybody. And what you were talking about as far as families coming together, they already know each other. That's called social proofing, right? So we increase the likeliness that relationships are going to work out because we know someone who knows the person that we're trying to date. We have some sort of social proofing as far as safety, as far as interest. The list goes on. All these different qualities that go beyond, are they attractive? Do they seem nice? Right? Because anybody can seem nice the first time you meet them.
That's right.
So we're missing that element. We're also having a world that is actually, it's a big world, but it's small now, because I could say, you know what, I'm dating a woman that's in Germany, and I can get on a plane and pretend like I'm dating her. And when I'm not there, we can chat and we can FaceTime. We can do all that stuff. The world seems a lot smaller. We don't work in our towns anymore. We have to, I live in New Jersey. Most of the people I know work 20 minutes, and that's close, or longer. 45 minutes is not abnormal. So we're away from our communities. We have less community. I live in a building with a bunch of people. I don't know their names.
That's
you know?
crazy.
So it's just, I know their faces. I don't know their names. We say hi and bye. That's about it. So our society's become more technologically advanced, but we're more distant in communication and actual human relationships.
That's right.
Yep. I assume both of you are married?
And that's basically the key point that I wanted to throw out there, is that, like Michelle said before, we spend a lot of our time indoors doing work because we have to. We got to pay the bills, right? You got to get things done. But in today's world, this thing dominates, right? I mean, it is our lifeblood without it. And unfortunately, what it has started to do, and I think our current generation of young adults is the best example of this, it 100% erodes communication ability and relationship abilities between people. Is that, Brian and I joke about this all the time. Okay, I know my camera just died. Hang on one sec. So, yep. So Brian and I talk about this all the time. We do it in a joking manner of that we come from a generation of talk shit, get hit. You thought about what you said. You can think what you want to think, but you thought about what you said in front of somebody because you knew that, that might get me slapped in the face, type thing. Well, but in a more intellectual sense, what we're talking about here is the learning how to convey a point or how to communicate with somebody an important topic by utilizing tact or respect or whatever the case may be, right? It's like, what is your desired outcome? Is it to just be an ass, or is it to actually get a positive result, a changed opinion? If that's the case, then you need to think about how you're delivering this message, because if you're delivering it aggressively or delivering it, in these ways, and I think those art forms, it's stupid that it be called an art form, but I think that skill set of how to interact with people has been greatly damaged because of how small we've made the world and how, it's forced us to step outside of, thinking about community. That was a powerful thing that guy says, I know their faces, but I don't even know their names. And they live in multifamily housing apartment complex. I'm thankful that I know my neighbors just on each side of me. I know them by name, by first name, and I can chat with them. And I trust that they keep tabs on my stuff as I keep tabs on their stuff. But that's not normal, right?
Well, you go ahead, Michelle.
No, you go.
Ladies first, I insist.
I guess I have to act ladylike today. All right. They call that soft skills, right? Being able to empathize, being able to have, dare I say it, tact, right? What's coming out of my mouth, right? That has its impact, right? And how do I want to say this so that I can keep this relationship open as opposed to shutting it down, right? That's one of the things that we talk about in the work that we do too is, like there is a time and a place to say certain things. Know your audience, right? You don't have to self-censor because people are like, well, I'm not going to censor what I'm going to say. Well, no, but there is also a time and a place to know your audience. To your point, Gene, what do you want to get across? What is important in this moment? Am I trying to connect? Am I trying to communicate? Or am I just trying to be one up on somebody? Right. And in the military community, we all know that's part of the shadow side is giving each other shit is great. Right. It's a sign of love. Right. If you're not teasing somebody, it means you don't like them. Right. But at the same time, am I just trying to one up? Am I trying to have power and control over this person? Or am I trying to relate? And there's a fine line some days. Right. So it is about knowing what your intent is. Intent is huge with communication.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing that really drives me crazy is more so, and maybe it's just a personal thing, more so today is the phrase social awkwardness.
Yeah.
Right. Now, and I get some people do suffer from social anxiety and things of that sort. I'm not discrediting that at all. 100% not discrediting that. And I had to get the introvert and extrovert piece of this. But back in the day, right? I can't believe I just used that phrase. Back in the day, you go outside, you play with your friends, and you build those relationships within that community like Gene and I were talking about, and today, this is my community.
Right.
My kids, my teenagers, I'll watch them. They will sit in a room of their friends, and instead of verbally communicating, they're texting, sending a message. And it drives me so damn crazy that I'm the guy that will walk in the room, put your damn phones down and talk to one another.
Yeah.
Why are you? Well, we are. No, you're not. You're not saying a damn word. You're texting.
Yeah.
I said,
or Snapchatting or looking things up or in a game. Yeah.
I mean, I explained to him, your body will tell you more. Your body will tell me more than your mouth ever will. Well, what do you mean? Get off your damn phone and read body language. Read temperament, read tone, read texture. If you walk into a room like a bull in a china shop, there's some aggression that's going to come out. If you walk into the room with nice and passive and you kind of look lost, that there's probably some empathy going there, and trying to explain this to them, but they don't have any damn clue because of this right here, right here. So what I got out of that video, Brother Gene, is 100% the downfall of society. We have destroyed ourselves by our greed for laziness, if that makes any sense.
Convenience.
100%. I mean, what was the movie? WALL-E. Disney and Pixar came out with WALL-E.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
I can see us, if we make it long enough, not us because we'll all be dead, but generations of us, I can see that.
Yeah.
They're going to be sloths in a chair where everything is brought to them by a damn robot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And at some point,
with kids on that.
At some point we can, this isn't, it's been, I've heard people relate this that, yeah, man, but you can't swim against the current. No, I'm going to redivert the current. That's right. I was taught by a United States Marine when I was in my 20s. He taught me that if you don't like the rules to the game, it doesn't mean you get to ignore them, but you need to change the game then. Okay. You can't change the rules, but change the game. Yeah. And that's the way I view this is that it's time to redivert some of this stuff. And this generation likes to blame my generation for their woes, and unfortunately, that's rather atypical of that generation, finding somebody else to blame. But the fact of the matter is, it's a matter to me of, no, man, we need to fight against that convenience should overtake. The one area that I'll say that I'm really loving and I'm seeing it take place more and more is in regards to health, which that's we'll go downrange with that one of these. But convenience in health has led to, in my opinion, a massive, massive issue that has taken across the world, but in America specifically, is our health. Yeah. For the convenience of packaged foods, the convenience of fast food, the convenience of all these things, they shouldn't even be called food. When you start to dig into the real stuff of what that crap is, it's meant to pack a colon, bro. I mean, that's pretty much all it's there to do.
Let's do a whole podcast on that, and
yes,
talk about the reels and the shorts to be able to bring into that.
Yep,
it's huge up for everybody right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I got one other that I wanted to share here, and then we'll wrap this thing up. And this is from Nick Freitas. It's a pretty impactful. I'm going to share the screen first, then I'll click on it because this truly is a reel that came over from Facebook or whatever. But this is a pretty strong one as well.
And every once in a while, somebody says something that hits different, and it really forces you to think. And I was talking a while back about how, as a man, I have an obligation to preserve a legacy that my grandfather, my father passed on to me, and that I have a responsibility to pass on to my son, to add to and pass on to his children. And somebody responded to that, and they said, yeah, I don't have any of that. I don't have anything that my father passed on to me that I need to protect, preserve, and pass on. And they concluded that they didn't have a legacy. The truth of the matter is that they do. It's just going to start with them. They're going to be the father that changes the trajectory of their entire family, because they're not going to let what happened to them happen to their children. They're going to be the one that steps up and is the responsible husband and is the responsible father. And because of that, an entire family's future is going to change. And that's a legacy worth fighting for. And every once in a while, somebody...
Now that one, I'm going to go ahead and in Brian fashion here, I'm going to throw a little vulnerability out there myself on this piece. So I did not grow up most of my life with any type of positive father figure. I had an older brother, 7 years older than me. I never looked at him like that, though. He was my brother, right? Just way older and much bigger than me, and could throw me around the yard or basement or wherever else he decided to throw me and punch me and, teach me how to be tough out there. And I joke, that wasn't all he did. He did teach me a lot as a brother, but never as a father figure. And so when I, in my early mid-20s, realized I was about to become a father, I was like, holy hell, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't have an example in front of me that's telling me this stuff. And my camera just froze again. Of course it did. Jerk, stupid machine. I'm back. Yeah, exactly. Grastle, fraggle, graggle. Yeah. But so that piece there, I had that same conversation that he talks about. I had that conversation when I was holding my daughter when I was 26. I've got her, at the hospital there, and I'm holding her, walking her into the hallway to show her to my mother and my sister. And here's these big blue eyes batting at me, looking at me. And I realized I have to be that. It's going to start with me. And what do I want to leave, man? Where do I want to go? And I'll be honest with you, having my son at 22 in college, living in my basement because he's still going to school, and Colorado sucks for young people to try to get a start out there, has really helped me, because I'll hear this kid say some things, and you want to talk about just an exhale that I have. I'm like, thank God. Okay, the kid's got it. He knows what's going on here. He's got a strong base of fundamental skills. It's not going to be easy for him, especially with his peers that think completely opposite of him. He's getting bombarded by other areas, but he takes responsibility. He wants to, and he's got age to his thought. And I'm like, yes, okay, maybe I did. He was listening. Good God, that blank stare he was giving me was not indicative. He's like his dad. He doesn't look as smart as he is, but by goodness, he just might be.
Right.
But that's an important thing, I think, for all of us to remember, is that whether it's positive or whatever or negative from your past, it doesn't mean you don't have something there to go forward with, whether it's with your friends, your family, your kids, your whomever. You're an influence to somebody, dude, and you got to get a hold of that and understand that you're important and you matter to some people out there. And if you need somebody to show you that, well, shit, hit us up on the Double S. We'll find something in there. We'll make fun of you, but we'll find something in there that's positive, and we'll make sure you're aware of it for sure.
But you'll do it with love. You'll do it with love.
100%.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. You guys are the best.
It's the same thing, Gene. And I don't have your same story, but with regards to like legacy, I'm fighting to try to preserve the legacy of my grandfather. Right. We just lost him. It's been, I think 3 months now, but his land is stuck in a probate, and I'm trying to fight with my father to be able to do what I can to get that land so I can save it and pass that on to my kids or my brother's kids, and then have that in a trust to have something as part of my grandfather's legacy. Now, my grandfather, I'll put it out there. I'll say it to my dad. My grandfather was an asshole. He was a lot like me, but more stern. And he wasn't a military guy. In the 50s and 60s, they went up north from here down in Alabama for the oil boom and the industry boom. Him and a bunch of his family, and they made some money. They came back down south to settle back with their families. And that's kind of how we ended up down here. My entire life, every summer, that was the guy I looked up to, because that's who I was with every summer. Him, my great grandfathers on both sides of my dad's family, because my dad's parents divorced, so 2 sets of great grandparents there. But that was the patriarch, and now he's gone. So now my dad is the patriarch. It falls on dad's shoulders. But that legacy is important, and I'm glad that you played that clip, because while I'm trying to fight to save that for my own reasons, I've got to have something that I have to save and show my kids, whether it's my military service, whether it's the work that we do on our nonprofits, community selfless service, whatever the case may be. I might have to go. We just got paged out for contact.
We're wrapping it up right here. Michelle, thank you so very much for being with us. We love you. We appreciate you. We're going to see more of you here. Folks, remind you, this is Brian, you got to go, brother. Go get her done.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you soon. And so, folks, this is a pre-recorded. We're not been live. That's why we haven't been talking to you if you've been commenting on the video. But please do comment. We'll respond when we see it. June 1st is when this goes live, is when we're gonna show this bad boy. So make sure, please, smash the subscribe and get out to Operation Equine. Go check them out. Facebook, Instagram, all the areas out there at Operation Equine. You can go to their website. I'm assuming that's operationequine.org.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Go check out.
We don't have the Instagram yet. We're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So Facebook and website we got.
Perfect. And bottom line is, if you're having a hard time figuring out where they're at, you hit me up and I'll get you right to them for sure, through and through. But yes, there's amazing work going on. I can't wait to hear about the transformation stuff you got going, and we'll have to get together for lunch. Let's go see that metal shop down there. Let's hook up for that. And then, because I've got some cool evolution stuff that we're doing on our side. Because like you said, it's a living document, right? We're growing every day. And we're changing a little bit of direction. We're always on the same mission, but it's just changing lanes every now and again. We got to move over for the traffic, right?
That's right. We got to shift with the tide some days, and that's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So Michelle, hang with me here while we roll this out. Folks at home, make sure to smash that subscribe button. We need that. That's a huge, huge help for us at the Double S Podcast, at Double S Podcast, YouTube. Major help. Like Brian always says, he has our outro that he goes through. He's something, and then it's usually peace and hair grease in there. So take care, folks. We love you. Peace and hair grease. We're out.